In this episode, we are starting the year with my 10 tips to develop your money mindset to become wealthy through this year. Now, because this is the first episode of the first year, I wanted to share my best tips, and today we're going to deep dive into them. And remember, if you haven't, come and join my free community on the School platform where we get to deep dive even further to develop that money mindset and to make you wealthy. Come along and join the community. Welcome. This is Gull, your money mindset expert, and I'm so excited to be speaking to you after a short break. So I haven't done one of these episodes for a while. We took a little break because I was too busy with my other ventures, and I had to take a break and from doing the weekly podcast that I do for you guys. But I've missed you guys so much, so now I'm back. So yeah, and I thought, what better way than to start the year with a bang? So today I'm going to be sharing with you my 10 tips for you to start this year correctly and for you to develop your money mindset along the way and to actually develop your wealthy mindset. Okay, this podcast is all about giving you strategies and mindset tools to be able to go and create the kind of life, to create the kind of wealth that you guys are are desiring, are wanting, are hoping for, or wishing for. Okay, we take away that wish, that hope that maybe it will happen, and give you solid tools which, if you take action on, will make sure that you create the life that you want. And you never know, 12 months down the line, if you follow the strategies given in this podcast through myself and through all the guests, you will be in a place that it's unrecognizable for you for now. So I know for myself, when I look back over the last 7-8 years, my life has completely transformed. I had no idea at that time that I would be at this juncture in my life and doing the things that I'm doing and have the opportunities open to me that they are at the moment. So I'm very blessed, and I want to pass on that knowledge, that the learning that I did. And I'm still learning, I'm still a work in progress. But as I'm learning, I'm sort of passing on my knowledge to you guys in this fun way through this podcast. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So this is it's a new year, and it has a lot of aspirations, hopes, dreams that we all sort of start off the year with. I want you to really just focus on those dreams and just look at it. So before you begin this thing, I want you to come and listen to this podcast with the idea that nothing's impossible. Everything is within your reach. Yes, it may not be within the time frame you would like, but nothing is impossible. Everything that you desire, you would not have that desire if you didn't have the ability or the potential to create that, to have that, to be able to make that reality in your 3D world. Okay, with that knowledge, let's get started. So my first tip for the year is, of course, set clear goals. I am not a person who goes and creates New Year's resolutions. I've never done that. I create goals. Yes, there are things that I wish to create, and there are things that I'm aiming for in that particular year, but they're not resolutions. They're not New Year resolutions. They're goals. So every year I always say, set goals for yourself and then visit them periodically throughout the year, but especially towards the end in terms of December. I usually do this around the end of December or straight after Christmas. And before the new year begins, you've set yourself goals for the new year. Now, when you begin by defining goals for that year, you can make them, you can make plans for them. You need to make them specific. You need to make them measurable, and you need to make them achievable. Have a big, massive, out of the box dream, but then you need to work backwards and break it down to its components to be able to create it, to make sure that you can believe that you can do it. The biggest problem that I see with people is they don't believe when they write the goal down that they can achieve it. There's a difference between knowing that you can, how to do something, and believing that you can do something. And let me explain. When you say, for example, that you're going to create $1 million over the next year, there has to be a knowing in there that, yes, this is going to happen for me. you don't have to know how you're going to do it. So the methodology doesn't have to be known to you. That's not where we're after. But there has to be a knowing in your heart. There has to be a belief in the heart that believes that you can do this. This can happen for you. You can create this. And this is important. If you don't have that belief that this can happen for you, then it's just wishful thinking. And it's just you write a piece of paper, which we can write. It doesn't really matter either way, does it? You have to have this innate belief that whatever you are whatever you're setting yourself out to create, you can create it. The methodology may not be known to you. And actually, I would go as far as say, if you are creating a large enough goal, you should not know how to create it. You should just have that belief. Cultivating that belief, getting to that point when you actually believe you can create it, that's another conversation. But knowing how to get there is not your problem. That's not what we start off with. That's not the starting point. But belief is. So you have to set goals that you can believe that you will achieve. Now, if your goals don't scare you, and I remember Bob Proctor used to talk about this, may he rest in peace. If your goals don't scare you, your goals are not big enough. So you have to create bigger and bolder goals. Be something that's going to excite you, something that's going to make you, oh my God, I need to do this. It should really scare you too. But at the same time, think, my God, this is amazing. And it gets your creative juices flowing, right? So this is why it's so important. You need to have, something that you can actually really put your life and energy into and create magic in your life. So the goal has to be big enough, the goal has to be exciting enough, and the goal has to motivate you, get you jumping out of the bed in the morning. And it will ask you for some sacrifice. I don't believe in anything called a free lunch. Things are not easy. I really believe that. The reason why they're not meant to be easy is because otherwise you would not value them. We as a human people, as human beings, the nature of human beings rather, we only value things that we work for. That's why people who win the lottery and other things, they don't appreciate it. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to value the money that comes to them in certain circumstances. When you work for it, now, I'm not talking about the 9 to 5. I'm talking about creating these different strategies and movements and, businesses, whatever else. But you need to, when you work through it and you do sacrifice a certain elements of your time and relationships sometimes and, other things. I'm not talking about Gary Vee, hustle, hustle, hustle kind of thing, but there is an element of work towards it. When you put that in, that's when magic happens, right? But you have to believe first that you can do this and then be willing to put the time and effort required to make it happen. And you would only put the work in if you're excited enough about that goal. $1 million is not in, if it doesn't excite you, then you will not jump out of bed trying to create it. But if it does, if you are excited about money, then you will. This is why I'm not motivated by money as such. I'm more motivated by what money can do in certain ways, in certain situations. First of all, it used to be the money that I needed to make sure my kids are in private school and, all of that stuff. Now that that's been accomplished, now the next level and what else I can do, how else I can contribute to the world. And therefore, that's what gets me excited, not the element of making 7 figures, 8 figures, or 9 figures. Does that make sense? So this is why goals are really important. So the very first thing you want to do is set clear goals for yourself, right? Okay, number 2, you need to have what I call mindful budgeting, okay? Take stock of your expenses and income. And I say this because we played a game last night and we had friends over and we were playing the cash flow game from Robert Kiyosaki. In that, by the way, and I ended up being a pilot yesterday, which I was really, because I know the game and I played it and I know how things are. Everyone was like, oh, but you make so much money, you have so much cash flow. And I kept telling them, no, it's not about the amount of money you make. It's about the amount of money you keep. So it's very important that you budget correctly. You're able to save and you're able to invest because that's how you become financially free and that's how you become wealthy. It's not about how much money you make. It's how much money you save. Otherwise, there are all these people. I mean, Mike Tyson is an extreme example, but generally as well, you have these people who are doctors, lawyers, accountants, and whatnot, and they make more than enough money to be comfortable, and they should be saving a certain amount into their ISAs or whatever have you, but they don't. And so they come to retirement, 95% of the population, it retires poor. That's ridiculous, right? But that's how things happen. So be more mindful about the money you keep rather than the amount of money you make. So you need to budget correctly. Okay, so it's called mindful budgeting, and create a budget that aligns with your goals. So tackle money where it goes. Identify where the money holes are in your budget, maybe, or expenses. Are you overspending in certain areas? Are you under saving? Are you whatever? Beginning of the year is a prime time to actually sit down and have a look at your income expenditure and work out where you want to go. And it can only always tie in with goal number one, because if your income is barely leaving you enough room to be able to cover all your expenses and save, then one, you need to reduce your outgoings, but also I'm really of the firm opinion, you want to make more money. So I don't want you to increase expenses. Keep expenses where they are, but make sure they don't go any further. But be mindful of the fact that, okay, you need to create additional forms of income or increase your income, and any additional income that comes will go straight into your savings. Okay, that's the kind of way you need to look at it. So mindful budgeting is really, really important. Number three, this is something that I think I believe for anyone who to be successful in any area, in any niche, in any area, they have to be students. They have to be lifelong learners. So embrace continuous learning. Don't stop your learning just because you've got a certain level in your academics or in your profession or in your business and so forth. Constantly learn and improve, and even those things that you think you improve. So I would say I run multiple businesses now, and I have a good knowledge of marketing and sales and many areas of the business. But I'm constantly learning to listen to other podcasts. More precisely, actually, I listen to a lot of audiobooks because I love reading. I do a lot of traveling nowadays, and therefore I'm not able to read as much, but I do listen to a lot of audiobooks, and they're all centered around business and marketing and mindset and so forth. Someone asked me recently, why do you still listen to books about mindset? I thought you're brilliant at mindset. I'm like, that's exactly the reason why. When I've learned so much, I've now realized, I've come to the point in my life when I realize how little I know. It's only people who know very little who become arrogant about the fact that they know so much and that they are brilliant. People who really are lifelong learners, the more they learn, the more they become aware of the fact that how little they actually know, and how much knowledge there is out there that they still need to sort of absorb and learn and get creative with. So I'm not saying just learn and not put application into it. Not at all. What I'm saying is become a lifelong learner. Set the goals. If you're not someone who reads very often, set a goal to read a book a month, maybe a book every 2 months. If you are unable to read because of your time constraints and other things, I mean, it's easy said than done. At times it's very difficult. Then maybe learn through other means. Some people are visual learners, some people are auditory. I love listening to audiobooks because I am very auditory. So I love listening to books, and then if I really, really enjoy a particular book, then I'll get the hard copy as well. Or maybe the Kindle copy, and then I'll read and listen at the same time. This is a tip that was given by Russell Brunson, and I thought it was brilliant. Get the Kindle version or the hard book version and the audiobook, and then you sort of read and learn together. But I think those things are really important to learn and grow to grow your skills. But this is not necessarily done for just to improve your skills. It's just to improve the depth of your knowledge and to become a more rounded and a more read person, to be honest, right? And you never know how one aspect of your learning could impact another. It's just everything that we assume that mathematics has nothing to do with biology, but they do. Everything's interrelated. And when you become aware of that, you never stop learning. You always have this idea that there's more to learn and there's more to understand and there's more to do, right? So commit to expanding your financial knowledge as well as other things. I mean, obviously, this is a money mindset podcast. I'm going to ask you to learn more about how you can invest further, what's best ways to invest, how can you create additional income streams. So how can you, if you have a business, how can you improve it? How can you scale it up? How can you improve your marketing? There are so many different areas you can focus on. but commit to learning all the time. And I think this will definitely help you. So another thing would be, to pick out new niches, pick out new areas that you don't know much about. So I've recently started reading books around nutrition and health and longevity and, how to age, slow down aging process. Now, I'm blessed with good genes, so I know that. But also because I am someone in the 40s and I'm, even though alhamdulillah I'm blessed with very good health, I don't want to be developing those niggly, aches and pains and other health-related, age-related issues. And therefore, I've started researching and reading into other books that could help me to carry on being healthy and live my life to the fullest and really treat age as a number. Right? So I think that helps you to break free from your monotonous one focused learning, which can become a bit cumbersome, to be honest. If you all you ever do is read about business and mindset, whatever, you need to become a well-rounded person and have knowledge about other things to make your life interesting, as well as your listening for listening purposes. And for that reason, I'm going to interject here how recently I started listening to audiobooks. I love the classics, by the way. So growing up, because I was dyslexic, I found it reading very, very difficult. But once I was able to overcome that, and that happened around the ages of 15, 16, I became an avid reader of the classics. The world of Bronte sisters was open up to me, and Jane Austen and so forth. So read for pleasure too, and allow yourself to learn about things just because it makes you happy and just because you enjoy it, not necessarily just for work purposes. So I'm a bit expanded on this section because I think it's really important to not just learn about the things that would help you make money, but learn about things that improve you as a character and your ability to converse, to be able to communicate, and to understand the joys of life, emotional relationships as well. And I think classics are a great way to understand human nature and to get a perspective of the grey area. I think we're too inclined towards white and black, and there's a lot of grey area there as well. Anyhow, I digress. Let's come back. So yeah, learning. That's number 3. Number 4, and that's probably has to be my favorite, is cultivate a positive money mindset. There's no way around it. I think I've talked about this so much that I've got a whole podcast around it, which is money mindset. But you need to shift your mindset from scarcity abundance, and the whole purpose of this podcast is to help you do that. And you need to develop your ability to see the bigger picture, to see that you can attract wealth, and begin to believe that you can. If one person has created certain things in their life, certain wealth in their life, some kind of abundance in their life, that you too can create the same thing. Yes, you will have a different path to them, but if they can do it, so can you, because you will not have the desire to create that in your life unless you had the ability to do so. I always say this: God does not give you something just as a carrot to run after, just if he didn't have any intention of giving it to you. But yes, you have to work for it. And so you have to work on your money mindset in order for you to believe that you can create the kind of wealth that you want. And when you believe that you can create that wealth, you will attract the opportunities which will help you create that wealth, right? So you need to replace your limiting beliefs about money with empowering beliefs. And one of the best ways to do that, by the way, and here's my shameless plug here, I would encourage every single one of you to come and join my community on School platform. And if you're interested, for sure, if you haven't joined already, there will be a link in the show notes, or there'll be a link here if you're watching us on YouTube. Then there'll be a link here in the description, the YouTube channel, that where you can click on it and join that free community. And in that community, we share so many tips to build your mindset, to change your mindset around money. And of course, there's options to come and work with me a bit deeper on a various scale. But the whole purpose of this community is the reason why we set it up is so that you can develop your money mindset and truly understand and believe that there's nothing out there in the world that you cannot create financially or otherwise, actually. But obviously, I'll focus on finances. But you also have to understand it's not an easy road. It's not going to be easy. If you are someone who's born into poverty, if you are someone who with lack and scarcity or is surrounded by lack and scarcity, you have to let go of your limiting beliefs. And this is the support we provide for you in our free community. So do check out the links. It's on the school platform, and we do a lot of give you loads of free courses as part of it to be able to help you along your journey. No, there's no strings attached. The community is free for you. Okay, so that's number 4, cultivating a positive money mindset. Number 5, I want you to build multiple streams of income. I remember when I was first introduced to this idea of multiple streams of income, again, it was Rob Proctor, may he rest in peace. And he had this affirmation that he would pass on to everyone. And he said it, and it was in that program of his, you were born rich, which goes as follows. I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me through multiple sources in increasing quantity on a continuous basis. And I remember saying that affirmation, just adopting it and just taking it with me all the time. And now when I look at my life, and I've done exactly that. I do have multiple streams of income. Money does come to me through multiple sources, an increasing quantity on a continuous basis. And I sort of smile at that because I've made that my reality. You need to create multiple streams of income. If you are dependent on one form of income, that income can stop and you can be in a bit of a pickle. So you need to find ways to create income streams which allows you to become financially free. And there are many ways around it. And there's passive income, there's active income, there's side hustles, but you need to explore avenues beyond your primary income. Otherwise, you'll be dependent on it. And God forbid that income, for whatever reason, stops. Then this could be, it could cause a lot of stress. And for a lot of people, this is a major point of stress when they have stress around money, because they're barely making ends meet with the primary income. And if they have the fear in the back of their mind that if this income stops for whatever reason, then how will they meet their basic needs? So what could you do? You could do side hustles, you can do investments, you can do passive income streams, freelancing, whatever have you. There's so many different things. You need to diversify your income, and you need to diversify your income streams, and this would mitigate the risks that you would have in terms of if one income stream stops. And when that happens, when you have money coming from multiple streams of income, it allows you to relax. And as you relax, your energy vibrates at a higher vibration. And so you're now vibrating higher frequencies. And guess what? You attract more opportunities to become more wealthy. Okay, that's why it happens. So this will open up new opportunities to you for you to actually not just create additional income, but to truly become wealthy. Okay. Right, so that's number 5. Number 6 for you now. That leads on to number 6. You have to be investing. Doesn't matter where you are at the moment. Doesn't matter where you are. And I talk about this in my 3 steps to cash flow mastery system. Doesn't matter if you're just barely making ends meet, if you're struggling with money, wherever you are on your wealth building journey, even if you're at the beginning, you need to be investing. Right? So you need to invest. And the second, you need to invest wisely. You need to educate yourself on the different investment options. Consider a diverse portfolio that aligns with your risk tolerance. This is really crucial. And for those people who are really starting out and who don't know much about it, and I would say speak to a financial advisor, seek a guidance from a professional. I like ETFs, but that's me personally. Low risk investments, invest and just leave it for the long term, because I'm not looking to take the money out. I'm looking for compounding growth. But you do what's necessary for you, what can work with your risk tolerance and your goals. If you're saving up for kids' education, college education, house, whatever, or even for your retirement, whatever that you are looking to invest for, speak to a professional, but speak today rather than tomorrow, and start, even if it's with 25 quid or 50 quid a month. You just have to start somewhere. And you need to make sure, if that means that you don't buy, your coffee at, Costa for the next every week you go to Costa and you spend at least about 20 quid on there and buying different coffees or teas or lattes or whatever have you, and you save that up on a weekly basis. £20 a week is about £80 a month minimum, right? So you can maybe reduce it to half. £40 of that can go into your investment portfolio, and £40 can go to buying coffee if you can't live without coffee from there, for starters, right? So you need to find ways to even start small, but start building your way, and you'll see how amazing this happens, right? Okay, so that's really important. But then again, you need to seek professional advice and educate yourself on investing. Invest wisely. Don't just throw money about in crypto and so forth. I'm not saying crypto is bad, but there's a lot of people who, just because crypto was skyrocketing, it was going through its boom, a lot of people were just throwing money at it and lost a lot of money. So you have to be careful in that regard as well. Yeah, careful. Okay, number 7, network and collaborate. So surround yourself with like-minded people. You can have masterminds or attend masterminds or networking events and meet people who are on on similar paths as yourself. You need to have friends and people that you can connect with and talk to, who can help you move along your goals. You don't want to be surrounding yourself with people that you are used to, the kind of people that you've been hanging around for the last 10 years. That can work if you are where you want to be. But if you're not where you want to be and you want to change your circumstances, you want to change your 3D world, that has to start with the kind of people you hang around with. So that means that you have to have better quality friends, people who are talking about business or ideas and have different aspirations. This is one of the most difficult things for people to do. But if you don't change your friend circle, if you don't do that, then you stay in that stagnant environment, and therefore your wealth building aspirations will slowly die down. And the reason for that is because your net worth would be the sum of the 5 people who are closest to you. So the 5 people that you hang out with the most with, if you take their cumulative wealth and divide it by 5, that's the average of that your net worth will be around. And this is true for most people. So that's why you find that a lot of entrepreneurs, as they start breaking free from their social circle, from the people they hang around with, it's not intentional. It's just they're no longer in harmony with them. They no longer vibrate with them. They start breaking free from them. They actually, as they break free, they exponentially grow, because now they're able to go to the next level and connect with people at that level and who have that kind of mindset. Now, I'm not talking about people who have different wealth, accumulation, so forth. Yes, people who vibrate on a high vibration would have more wealth, but that's not the goal here. The goal is to hang out with people who are achieving or on the path of achieving their goals, and the kind of people who can support you to achieve your goals. Not somebody who's going to hang in the bar and have drinks and encourage you to have drinks. Somebody who's going to hang in the who's going to go say, well, let's go to the gym, let's go and work out, let's go here, let's go do this, let's go to this networking event and see if we can connect with some more people and build a mastermind, and let's talk ideas, let's brainstorm ideas, let's brainstorm solutions for this problem. That kind of scenario. Does it make sense? So it's important that you elevate your surroundings and your peers, and this cannot be done by default. It has to be actively done, which means you have to look around you and see what kind of people you hang around with, and if they're not doing the kind of things that you want to be doing in the future, then you have to change that social circle, those friends or something, and you have to elevate them. And that means that the easiest to start with is start attending these networking events, start meeting new people, collaborating with new people. Networking can open up so many doors to valuable connections, opportunities, and insights. And you may not want to be friends with them initially, but you may find that later on you have very little in common with the kind of people you used to hang around with. And so it just becomes an organic process. It's not something that you do intentionally. It's something that happens organically. But you will find yourself spending less time with people you used to spend time with, and probably more time with people who are doing the things that you want to be doing. Yeah. Right. So that's number 7. Number 8, practice gratitude. You are here in a new year. You've got the whole experienced for more of the life up until now. There are so many people who didn't make it to this year. There are so many people who, who didn't have the opportunity to breathe today, who didn't have the opportunity to live today. So practice gratitude for everything you have and the fact that you are here where you are. And no one can take away your experience. No one can take away your life, the way you've lived it. Even siblings who grow up in the same household have different experiences, different memories of their childhood, and they have different abilities and different ways to deal with things. So you are who you are. Practice gratitude for it. You know, you have to really see everything that in the world up until now that's happened to you has happened for you. It's not there. There's no capricious God out on the top in the seventh heaven who's trying to make your life miserable. God loves you. Universe loves you. So the universe energy is loving and is giving and is nurturing. And every experience that you've been through so far has been to build, to educate, to make you the kind of person that you need to be in order to do the things you're here, you're destined to do, to create. And even the desires you have are being given to you so that you become the person you are destined to become. Because sometimes without those desires, for example, if someone wants to have a mansion, if they want to have a mansion or they want to have a jet or they want to have a Bentley, whatever have you, if you don't, if you, the only way to encourage you to create those income streams, to create that business, is by giving you those desires. There's nothing wrong with them. But when you have those desires, you can motivate yourself to be able to create that business, to be able to create that income stream, to be able to create that new solution. And you can outgrow your comfort zone. Because in order for you to grow, in order for you to make more money from where you are at the moment, you have to outgrow your comfort zone. So in order for you to step outside your comfort zone, in order for you to grow, you need to be given desires which will motivate you. And that's why the universe gives you those desires, okay? So that's where we are. Gratitude fosters a really, really positive mindset as well. This is something else which people forget. The vibration of gratitude is so much higher even than love. So when you're in the state of gratitude, you are just in a state of in oneness with God, with universe. And that when you're vibrating at that level, you're creating so many opportunities because all these good things are being attracted to you, right? So acknowledge and appreciate what you have been, what you've been given so far. And of course, you want to be striving for more. Of course, you want to be creating more. But what you have at the moment is amazing and really, really appreciate that. It shifts your focus from what you don't have to what you do have. And it creates this positive expectation in you that you're going to get everything that you are aiming for, and everything's going to show up at the right time, and the opportunities that are happening for you in the right time, and everything's working out for you. Even when those things become dark, even in your darkest moments, you know that everything's working towards in a way that's working towards for you, not against you. I think this is a crucial mindset to have, because when you walk into any situation with the mindset that nothing over here is bad for me, it may look wrong or bad on surface, but beyond it, it's going to be for me. Everything, you can make everything work, and you can work through every single problem and find a solution to every single problem, and find a way out through every obstacle. Okay, that's number 9. Number 8. Number 9. Now, when you have that kind of positive mindset, you can take calculated risks. Now, this is essential. In order for you to grow, in order for you to become wealthy, in order for you to do anything in life, you have to take risks. And sometimes not doing anything is just as risky, right? So people think, well, if I don't take any action, then I'm not taking any risks. Actually, you are. So, for those people who don't want to do a side hustle or don't want to do anything, by not doing those things, you're risking something anyway. It's a choice, right? The risk you're doing there is, what if your primary income source stops? You fall ill, or the company goes down, or something happens. So your primary source of income stops. You lose your job, or the job's no longer present. How are you going to provide for yourself then? The risk is still there. It's just you are oblivious to it. And most people who are in this 9 to 5 dogma believe staying there is less risky than doing your own business. And yes, the bigger the rewards, the bigger the risks. That goes hand in hand. But no one's asking you to take stupid risks. You have to take calculated risks. And I've done that many times. Now, sometimes those risks pay off, sometimes they don't. But you have to take calculated risks in order for you to succeed. in any area of your life, and especially when it comes to money. Because when you make investments, you have to calculate risks, because investments could go up, can go down. When you set up a business, it could go up, it can do really well, but there's possibility it won't do well. If you are, I've bought a business, and we found out so many things that were not right with it. Again, was one of those things. You take the good with the bad, the ugly, right? You have to take the risks, but without it, you won't get anywhere, right? Now, you need to understand that calculate risks are part of wealth building journey. They will always be part of the wealth building journey. Without taking and I keep saying calculated risks, not unnecessary risk, calculated risks, where you have to evaluate the risk thoroughly, but at the same time, you can see both sides, the pros and cons of it. Okay, so these are the risks, these are the things which could happen, but then don't let your fear hold you back. It's very important that you don't let fear hold you back. Sometimes the most significant rewards come from stepping outside your comfort zone, and those are beyond, and that's where the risks are. You have to step outside your comfort zone. So I am in an area at the moment which is way beyond my comfort zone. I've never worked in a male-dominated physical labor environment, brick and mortar for that. I've been in the online space for the last 10 years, but I now am. I'm stepping outside the house. I'm stepping into that environment, and I'm going to make it work. And I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I know this much for a fact, that inshallah, I will make it work. For every problem that comes my way, I'll find, inshallah, find a solution through it, above it, or, around it. I will find a solution, inshallah, and I will not stop until we've turned the company around, until we make a great success of it, until we've achieved the kind of goals that I've set for myself or for the company and achieve. And this means a sharp learning curve at the front, and I'm still learning a lot. So be it. But again, I find it exciting and invigorating, the fact that this is going to be a challenge for me. I guess I thrive on challenges, but that's me. But again, I took a calculated risk, and we will see how this pans out the next coming months. But in order for me to take that risk, I had to step out of my comfort zone, and I did. Well, I truly did. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Take a step out of your comfort zone, but take calculated risks. Okay? And number 10 now, review and adjust. You need to, now that we set the goals, you need to regularly review your progress and reassess your strategies. Like I said in the beginning, you should know how to get from A to B. You shouldn't really know how to get to A and B. You just know that you want to go somewhere. So you will have a plan, and that plan will change over the course of time as you try different things, and some things will work, some things will not work. So you will have to make adjustments. And this is why you need to periodically review and assess what you're doing and see what's working and what's not working, and be flexible enough to change your methodology or strategy, but firm enough to keep going for the goal. So I'll give you my example. My goal is to create a 9-figure business. I've used a few strategies in the past, and they haven't worked, and I've gone into a different sector now. The goal hasn't changed. The goal is to create a 9-figure business. But the methodology, the way I'm going to create it, instead of being in the online space, I'm now going to do it on the physical world of brick and mortar space. So the strategy has changed, but the goal is still there. Does it make sense? Right? So you need to have goals that you're working towards, but be flexible enough in the approach in how you achieve them and how you do them. And this can be broken down further. So even in my brick and mortar business, I'm going to, have a way, I've got a plan of how we're going to do things over the next 12 months. That may change, and it will change over the course of 12 months, depending on what has worked and what will work and what won't work, and potentiality of how we're going to scale up. That's the beauty of it, right? We work through it. We learn and we work through it. Okay, so that's very, very important. Now, remember, not every plan will work out, but it's not supposed to. It's a numbers game. Not everything you're going to do it fabulously. Again, it's a numbers game. As long as you're every day, you're getting closer and closer to your goal, to whatever you set out to achieve, then it's a success. Sometimes you'll take 2 steps back, but then the next day you'll take 10 steps forward. That's the kind of mindset you need to be walking with. And now be aware that it doesn't matter what setbacks you go through, a lot of the times, not every time, but well, actually, most of the times that I've seen so far, every setback is usually a setup for a great move forward. And it's just a brilliant way to look at things and have the confidence that you can get through anywhere and you can achieve any goal that you set for yourself today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your life. All right, so I hope you enjoyed these 10 tips for starting your year with a brilliant mindset to develop your wealth and abundance. Remember, developing a wealthy mindset is a journey. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. All right. So each step you take, no matter how small, no matter how insignificant to me you may think, even listening to this podcast, is a step in the right direction. You are working towards your goals. Everything contributes to your financial growth, everything. So I want you to stay focused. I want you to stay committed. I want you to believe that abundance is possible for you. And I want you to believe that any goal, any desire that you have in your heart, you would not have that desire if God did, or universe, or whatever you want to call it, did not give you the innate ability to be able to make that happen. So believe in yourself, believe everything's possible for you, and let's create magic. And remember, if you want me to help you to develop your money mindset, come and join our free school community. The link for which is in the podcast show notes, as well as in the description in the YouTube channel. I look forward to speaking to you again on a regular basis. Until the next time, this is Gull signing off. Take care and bye for now.